Greetings to the Conscious Collective. How is everyone doing today? We're going to be starting in 1 minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking about the Black Eye Conspiracy. If you guys haven't heard of it, we're going to break it down and its relationship to the third eye and how it's related to the third eye, what exactly it is, and how it's related to the third eye. Trying to make sure I have everything correct before we move into our discussion. All right, welcome, welcome. Divine Rising to the Conscious Collective. You know, we have a lot to go over today. Thank you guys for joining me. Let's warm up a little bit with some psychic practices. We're going to do remote viewing. I have 3 numbers here. I'm cybercasting on TikTok, but I am working off YouTube. And I'm going to place these numbers down. Let me see if I can place them down in different orders. Hopefully you can't see what I'm doing. And then you have to tell me, and we're going to do it a little different because there's such a delay on YouTube, but you can tell me in the comments where I'm placing the number at. But I'm not going to wait for the response because there's a delay. That's one reason why I like working with our TikTok, because the response was much quicker when we were doing this. TikTok, can you hear me okay? Because I turned down my volume earlier. Hold on, TikTok. Everyone hears me okay? But TikTok is very restrictive and has a lot of censorship. So I moved over to YouTube, but we know that story already, right? So I have my little incense stick and I'm placing it down. Please tell me where I place that number, where that number is at. Where that number is at. If you guessed 2, you were correct. Maybe I should get some more professional numbers. So I'm moving it around. I think TikTok may be able to see. Let me move it over here. Because of the way the camera is set up on TikTok, I think they can see where I'm placing that number at. We don't have a lot of people who would like to be honest on TikTok. Maybe there's some way I can do it this way. A lot of people like to lie to themselves. We have a whole society that loves lying to itself. All right. So where did I place that number down? If you have just came in on this stream on YouTube, Divine Rising to you. Where did I place that down on? We're doing a little remote viewing practice. All right. It was on 2. 2 again. 2 again. All right. This is kind of awkward over here. When can I block TikTok a little bit? All right, I'm place the number down again. Please tell me where that number is at as we warm up our psychic practice, psychic energy. We do this on Saturdays. So if you join the Conscious Collective community, sign up for the newsletter, you'll get the notification. It's a free newsletter, and we do our psychic practices. I send out the link through the newsletter. It's like it. And we do 3 types of practices. We do remote viewing, and we do reading my mind, and precognition. So if you want to really, like when people go to the gym, some people make a habit of going to the gym each day and working themselves out physically. If you want to be part of strengthening your intuition, strengthening your psychic abilities, then join me on Saturday. Join the newsletter. I'll send you that link. It's by invite only. We placed that number on 1. It was on 1. All right, let's move it around again and tell me where I placed the number at. All right. We do reading my mind off these cards on Saturdays. Today we're doing remote viewing. It is placed on remote viewing. If you said 3, that number was placed on 3. That 3 was the number we placed a little charcoal stick on. I'm doing it over here so that TikTok can't see and it's a little awkward. So where did I place that number? Where did I place? I'm gonna place the stick on a number. I'm asking you to remote view it. We also do today. So sign up for the newsletter and become part of that practice. I'll send that link out on the newsletter. The link to the newsletter is in the description. So let's do a couple more of these while we warm up, while people come in and get settled, and we're going to begin our discussion. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Eye Conspiracy and its connection to the spiritual third eye. If you guys haven't heard of the Black Eye Conspiracy, I will be talking about that in 1 second. Give me 1 second. See if I can bring it up. Perfect. It was placed on number 2. Number two. How many people know about the Black Eye Conspiracy? Have many of you guys heard about the Black Eye Conspiracy? You can email me your apology when you thought I was crazy talking about the many conspiracies and the many secretly moving forces in our plane of existence. Because now you found out that we were right. A lot of us was right about a lot of things. A lot of things are connected. A lot of things are diabolical. I don't like using the word evil, but it could be used in this sense. So if you haven't heard of the Black Eye Conspiracy, I'm going to enlighten you on that. Let's let this be our last one. And it was placed on 3. So if you want to do more psychic practices, sign up for the newsletter. And we will do it 3 different exercises on Saturdays, usually on Saturdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And so we can continue that on Saturdays. Who has just joined me? Let's see. Well, I'm sorry to see that, but you are part of Saturday, so, you'll be there Saturday. Divine Rising, Nicole, Divine Rising. I know a lot of people are working right now. A lot of people are just listening, but thank you guys for joining me. We're going to be talking about the Black Eye Conspiracy. Has anyone heard of the Black Eye Conspiracy, or they know anything about that particular conspiracy? If not, we will be talking about that. But first of all, I want to talk about the chakra system. I'm going to always talk about your chakras. Okay. I don't know what that means. Yes, the Varel thing. I don't know what that is, but is it related to the Black Eye Conspiracy? Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, right? But let's look at the chakra system, and then we'll kind of parlay into the Black Eye Conspiracy theory because it's related. We talked about, and TikTok, you can't see the imagery I'm putting up. All right. But I have an image up of a number of prominent people with black eyes, which you would think would be almost impossible, that so many people, prominent actors, celebrities, influential people of high status get these black eyes, and it's the left eye. And so we're going to be talking more about that, but we need to kind of outline it first with the chakras, so we have some understanding of what we're talking about. Do I have to discuss what the chakras are again? If you've been following me, you probably are familiar with the chakras. Okay. The chakras are what's going to send you to hell. Shout out to my church people. The chakras are what's going to send you to hell. All right. So if you don't want to go to hell, if you don't want to go to hell, I advise you to get out of this live. I advise you to leave this conversation, because this may put you on a path that has you questioning a lot of things. So you don't want to know about the chakras. Stay in your ignorance. Stay in your deniability. Stay in the I had a good experiment I want to try. I want to try an experiment really quick, right? I want everyone to act like they don't have a right arm. All right. And only do things with your left arm. Imagine you don't have a right arm. Greetings to the Conscious Collective. We only talk to those that are conscious. Imagine you only have a left arm. You don't have a right arm. You know how limited you would be? You know how limited you would be in a lot of things. Say you had no arms. I mean, you get people get down and do things with no arms, no legs. I mean, personally, I think you can just kill me. That's just me. You can just kill me. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I know people like, life is so precious. Well, the quality of life matters to me. The quality of life. But imagine that you don't have any arms. That is what religion is asking you. Religion is asking you to deny your curiosity, your intellect, and your ability to perceive the world. Religion asks you to eliminate your critical thinking. If we were not supposed to have critical thinking, why do we have it? Why is it given to us? Why is intelligence given to us? I say this over and over again. To do what religion proposes that you should do in the worship of God, your sole objective is the worship of God. You don't need a brain to do that. You don't need intelligence to do what religion says your sole purpose here. If you go to your pastor clergymen, all these religious institutions ask, what is my purpose? And they will eventually get to the total submission and service to God. Why do I have all these other faculties? That's the devil. That's the devil. I have a question. That's the devil. That's the devil. So you have these capacities for a reason. I'm going to propose that God wants you to know it. God wants you to experience it through you. God wants you through it to examine itself. That's why we say in a spiritual teaching, we are mirrors of the divine. We are the reflection. What did it say in their spiritual teachings? Let us make man and woman in our image. I'm going to add the part to be a reflection of it in the curiosity it has. So anyone that's telling you, if you are in any relationship, I don't care what kind of relationship you're in, and they do not want you to think, to be curious, to question, that's a very dangerous relationship. So in that questioning, in that thinking, we examine our chakras. The chakras are energy centers in the body. It is proposed by spiritual people that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We are energetic beings in a slow moving energetic world. Everything is energy. You are not what you think you are. You are an energetic being. There is no beginning and there is no ending to you. You've come through many reincarnations to learn, to grow, to experience source. So this type of teaching may be counter to what you feel comfortable with believing and understanding. So as we discuss our chakras to get a better understanding of who we are as energetic beings and how that is related to divine source, divine consciousness, we know that we have 7 main chakras. We have the root, the sacrum, the solar, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. There are other chakras just as important as that chakra, and I want to get to them. I keep thinking that I'm going to get to the primary chakras. These are the 2 chakras in your palm. And I keep thinking that I'm going to get to that. That is my intention. But I keep being guided to talk about the third eye. We had a whole conversation about the third eye chakra yesterday. We were talking about the disclosure event that's going to happen and discernment over deception. This is, I think this is going to be key. We're going to do a workshop on it, Nicole. We're going to do a workshop on the primaries. As soon as I'm led to do it, because I keep getting distracted by so many other things. And I think that we really need to focus on our discernment, because we're entering a time where everything's been exposed, but we need to know what is for our journey, what resonates with us in our journey. Some things that we hear, it just doesn't resonate. It's not for us. It doesn't make any sense at this time, but who knows? Who knows? So we need to understand, you were saying sacred symbols too. We need to understand the third eye as far as our discernment and knowing what is true for us in our journey. And I keep trying to move on to other chakras, but we keep coming back to the third eye chakra. I don't know if this is going to be a long talk. Maybe it's going to be a short talk. Depends on where we go with this conversation. Okay. And I'm gonna say this: the relationship to the third eye. And let me back up. The third eye chakra allows us to see beyond the physical, to actually have a clearer understanding. One way you can think of the third eye chakra, you can see someone do something physically, and you can say, "Wow, that's terrible. That's horrible," right? But when you have your third eye open, you can see why they do the things they do. You can see it from their perspective. That doesn't mean you agree with it or you condone it, but you can have a clearer understanding. See, the third eye has to open in this plane of reality before your crown opens. When you realize you're connected to everything, you have to see before you realize you're connected to everything. If you close your eyes in this physical world, you're going to be severely impeded by what you can understand. You know the old thing where they have six blind people describe an elephant? One grabs the tail and say, I feel a snake. One grabs the ears, one grabs the skin. I feel a tree, blah, 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 blah. When your eyes are closed, you're going to have a hard time perceiving this physical plane. Same as when your third eye is closed, you're going to have a hard time understanding the deeper meaning to things. And things are deeper. They're not as simple as you would like them to be. I had an idea. Tell me, you guys, what you think about this idea. There go TikTok doing this thing. Tell me what you think about this idea, right? That when we dream, that's actually our reality. That's actually where we exist at in spiritual plane. And when we come to this reality, it's like going to school. When you awake, it's like coming to the alarm is the bell that wakes you up when you set your alarm to start class. That you actually exist as a divine being in the spiritual place. And that's where you actually have your consciousness at. But you come here every day to learn. What do you think? That's one way of looking at it, right? One way of looking at it, that all of us go home, go back to our perspective realities in the dream world. And then you come here to learn things, to master energy, as Dolores Cannon so eloquent put it. If you haven't read Dolores Cannon, you should definitely read Dolores Cannon to have better understanding. If you're not on a spiritual journey, this may be a lot of stuff that's they have sports channels. They have a lot of sports content, people talking about, who's bigger, who's faster. My team won, your team lost. We on this side, they on this side. I'm not making you be here. But what we're trying to do here is trying to raise your consciousness, expand your mind, because this is the stuff that you take to your next life. I even challenge people that when you move to your next life, or even if some people just believe, well, I'm going to heaven, and then you go to heaven and they say, this is for you, Nicole. They say, what team did you root for? What team was your team? and you say the Kansas City Chiefs, you say all them are going to hell. Oh, you in the wrong place. You in the wrong place. All the Kansas City Chiefs, they going to hell. They those things, and I apologize to people who really, God damn it, you don't know the hell you're talking about. Well, then we use it as Democrats or Republicans or whatever tribe you think you are. No one's asking that in your next life. I would even propose no one even cares in heaven. If you say I'm going to heaven, I don't think they're asking what team you for. It'd be crazy if you did go to heaven and all you did was sit around and talk about, the 1962 Bears. I challenge people to really think of what we're doing here. Why are we here? What's the purpose of all of this? Is it just to do a few things, try to do the right things, and then you go to heaven? And who's judging that? It's usually some other person that's telling you God's judging it. So let's get back to the third eye and how important that chakra is and why we keep talking about that as we are in a state of revealing, as things become clearer and clearer, and we realize that this world is not what they say it is. And this is going to relate to the Black Eye conspiracy, that a lot of celebrities, a lot of people who have power. Let me ask you this. All right. What does power want? What does power want? Once you're rich and you're powerful and you have all the money that you're going to ever need in this lifetime, that you have all the power and access, what could you possibly want? Because the way human nature wants, especially people who pursue things, they want more things. Most people are never satisfied. That's just kind of our nature, right? So you want more things. So what else do you want after that, right? Power wants power. After you have gotten all the material things in the world, you're financially set, but you're still hungry because you are feeding the wrong things. So what do you want? You want more power. And so there is a number of ways that you can achieve, if you want to call it power. I call it higher understanding. The truth of everything. We do it the hard way. We do it by clearing our chakras, working through our trauma, expanding our consciousness. There's simple ways to do things. You don't have to. There's always a number of ways you can do things. Like being an energy vampire, right? Someone else could do the work and you can kind of, absorb off their energy. Or like sometimes I'm doing research and I'm studying things and I write things and somebody they just take it and run with it. Like it's like they didn't do any work. So there's a lot of ways you can come to an end. Some people want to do it the lazy way. Like say you're working out, there's a natural way to do it. Lifting weights, going to the gym, or you can just shoot yourself up with certain drugs and beat people to, when they're doing it the natural way, you beat them to the end, the unnatural way. And this is the core of what I'm trying to talk about is you cannot know what you don't know. It's just literally impossible to know something that you don't know. So everything that is known is a copy is an imitation of what is known already. AI is not a new invention. It is a copy of Gaian intelligence, consciousness. If you know what Gaia is, that we are Gaians, we are the framework. Gaia is Earth star. And Earth star, Earth has a consciousness. This is why it resonates with you. So I've talked about that often, that everything they copy is a copy of the original, of the divine original. So whenever they're doing their spells and their rituals and their protocols, they are trying to spiritually bypass the journey, and they just want the power. They don't want the lesson. They just want the power. This goes to what the black eye conspiracy is and its relationship to the third eye. So you think you don't have any power, and they're actually showing you you do, but they're cheating the process and the system. They're trying to get where you're going if you're doing the work, but they're trying to take shortcuts to it. There is a third eye. Please understand that. There is a deeper perception to things. Hell, even your physical eyes do not see the whole electromagnetic spectrum. You actually see this much of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Dogs and bees and everything else see more than you. You're damn near blind. You think you see, you're damn near blind. So even your physical eyes don't see everything. There is a deeper, a more connected eye that sees things a lot more, I want to say, hidden from these two eyes. And so the people in power, those that know. And it's so sad that we walk around and deny everything. We deny everything, living in total bliss, while the rich and the powerful, they know and they understand. You say, oh, they belong to the Illuminati. What does that mean? They belong to the Illuminati. What are the elite group of people that control the world? You just went in a circle. What are the Illuminati? Well, they're an elite group of people that control the world. How do they do that? Look at the word Illuminati. It comes from the word illuminate. Illuminate comes from the word light. Light means knowledge. They use knowledge, occult knowledge, spiritual knowledge, the wrong way, the incorrect way, to gain power, to gain influence, to gain success. But then we deny our own spiritual power and actually give them. So when you go somewhere and you do a ritual in a church and you do something, this is his blood and this is in remembrance and blah, blah, blah. And this is his flesh and we eat his flesh. Why do we do that? Oh, there's no reason. Well, then why are we doing it? Well, we're just trying to remember. No, it is a ritual. It is a spell. It's cannibalism, spiritual cannibalism. And the spiritual cannibalism, okay, physical cannibalism, the reason we don't eat each other or eat people is it releases some type of pathogen that creates holes in your brains. That's what cannibalism does. Eating of another species as yourself releases a pathogen that actually creates holes in your brain. That's the physical effect of cannibalism. The spiritual aspect of spiritual cannibalism is creating holes in your brain. Going through that procedure or ritual of eating and drinking of blood spiritually, symbolically, is creating holes, spiritually holes in your brain or in your consciousness. Everything's always mirrored. If you look deep enough, you understand. You start seeing the mechanics of this world and how things move and what they mean. So they understand this. The people who seek power, who seek success, understand a lot of the spiritual things I try to share, but a lot of people are not really in tune to it and live their world blinded or not understanding how things actually work. Another ritual that I have a problem with is baptism. You're born in water once, the correct way. Again, mirroring the divine. I told you everything's a copy. Everything's a copy. Everything's an imitation. You're born through water. You portal into this reality through water. Your mother's womb. Okay? They rebaptize you again to break that connection. That first connection you were born, that connection to source, you're rebaptized. And what the symbolic meaning of drowning is actually breaking the heart connection, because when you drown physically, it's having a heart attack. You have a heart attack. That's the cause of drowning. You have heart attacks because you can't get any more oxygen into your bloodstream. You don't suffocate. You have a heart attack when you drown. And so when you are symbolically baptizing someone, you are actually breaking their heart, their connection to divine source. So again, a lot of the rituals, a lot of things that you participate in, a lot of things that you see them do, they have meaning behind them. Now we're going to come back to the third eye, because that relates to what the Black Eye Conspiracy is. Google it if you haven't heard of it, but I'm going to talk about it and how it relates to the third eye. You can see this image. The number of people is insane. There go Kanye West. I don't know who these other people are, but all of them are highly influential people. If you saw the thumbnail on this video, I used Elon Musk. He had a black eye. You would think they would be a lot more careful. Okay. Let me see what I want to bring up. I'm going to bring up my notes, and we're going to start talking about the Black Eye Conspiracy. All right. Let's get into it. It's normally called the Black Eye Club, and it is a conspiracy theory suggesting that a number of politicians, celebrities, and influential figures have appeared with a bruised left eye, a black eye. This conspiracy theory claims that these injuries are not accidental, but an initiation of some sort. That is connected, that the actual black eye is connected to the Norse mythology of Odin sacrificing one of his eyes. Now, this is the part you really need to pay attention to. That Odin, the god, Odin was the the head of the gods. He's Thor's father. If you watch any of the movies on TV, the Avengers, if you watch any of those movies, you know Odin was the father of Thor. Odin had to sacrifice one of his eyes to drink from the well of wisdom. Check this part out. To gain divine wisdom and foresight. Now, us in a spiritual journey know how we gain divine wisdom and foresight by opening our third eye. But if you don't want to do the spiritual work to open your third eye, there's another way you can do it. Okay? If you don't want to go through the trials and lessons and the raising of your vibration to open your third eye, there's another way to do it. And this is how they shortcut it. They have the rituals and they have the schemes to bypass the spiritual growth. Odin had to sacrifice one of his eyes to drink from the well of wisdom to gain divine wisdom and foresight. His eye was demanded as a sacrifice, representing that true wisdom requires sacrifice and the exchange of your physical sight for a deeper spiritual perception. Let that sit with you for a minute. Let that sit for just a minute. When we do this spiritual work, our sacrifice is the work. It's the effort. It's the time. It's the tearing down of the lies and the building back up to get to the third eye. You have to clear your chakras. You have to understand yourself. You have to be reflective. You have to go through your dark night. You got to release trauma. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do this. They just want the power without the work. We know the third eye represents the gateway to higher consciousness, intuition, enlightenment, and is located between the eyebrows. It enables extrasensory perception, a deeper spirit of self-awareness, and a connection to the non-physical realms. To open that third eye, you have to use techniques like meditation, visualization, throw a little yoga in there, and use sometimes crystals. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. If I can get the same result quicker, more painfully, maybe I'll take that route instead of all that. Instead of just learning to meditate alone is a practice. You don't master meditation. You practice it. It's not a mastery thing. It's a practice. Visualization requires a focus. Yoga is a lifetime practice. Doing crystal work, that energy is so subtle. When you put a crystal on you, because it's subtle energy, you don't get the immediate effect of it. It has to work with you. Maybe it'd be a lot easier if someone just punched you in your eye. Now, I don't know the exact ritual they use, but it leaves a bruise around the eye. Maybe it's a lot easier if someone just punched you in your eye. That actually causes the eye to be damaged. I meant to bring up this picture of Odin. This is Odin. He was supposed to be the head of the gods. And the reason I look at the narrative, the Norse mythology, or any type of information regarding gods, because they're deeper meaning. It doesn't really mean, that these people existed, but they're stories to tell things. And same way in Christian teaching. It's not about whether these people actually existed. It's the message that's being conveyed there. What should you be learning? So we look at the idea that this story is about giving up something physical or going through a process physically. You see the relationship I'm trying to show you how the story of Odin giving up a physical part of himself, his eye, so he could gain wisdom and knowledge, is directly related to the bruising that you see a lot of celebrities and powerful people have around their eye. They have traded off the actual work that you need to do to get that deeper meaning, to get that deeper understanding. They have traded that off for the quick way of doing it through some type of ritual that actually caused the eye to be blackened or bruised. Now we're going to go into what this actually means. You'll see a lot of famous celebrities and people use this symbol too. They know, man. I'm telling you, they know. They know. I'm showing you the process, but I'm showing you the slow way, because you ain't got enough money to give me to go this way. I wanted to show you the way they do it. There's an exchange, not only of physicality, but exchange of monetary. You don't just get this power and not pay for it, but you're going to pay more than money too. You'll see a lot of celebrities' hair turn bleach blonde. All of them rock this bleach blonde hair, and there's a purpose for that. It's actually a reason why their hair turns that color. We can talk about that. If you guys want to hear more about that, please put it down in the comments, and we can talk more about that. Give this video a thumbs up. Do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let's get this algorithm to get to recognize what we're doing, so we can keep sharing this information. This is a time of revealing. So please thumbs up the video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to this channel, this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, you don't have to subscribe. I wish you would subscribe, but at least on TikTok, follow me on TikTok so we can get that channel. I need to put a link on there, and I got to rebuild TikTok. But they actually know the end result of what they're trying to get to. What the ritual is that causes a bruising around the eye, the physical giving up of something. And I firmly believe that they are continually being tricked, because your spiritual enlightenment is going to surpass any type of enlightenment you get here on this physical plane. See, when you don't do things the right way, you don't get the right results. You get some type of fake result that may bring you some success in your world, but you can't take that to the next plane of your reincarnation. And that's the whole point. We're trying not to repeat this lesson. Now, I wanted to note this really quickly. That the third eye is associated with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is also called the seat of the soul. There is a order, a beautiful order to all of this, if you could just see it. The seat of the soul sits in the center of your brain, the pineal gland. Look at its relationship to the crown chakra, the I know chakra. That your soul, once your third eye is open, that your soul actually knows its connection. It not only sees the deeper meaning to things, it allows you to see your divine connection. And it's interesting that it's also related to the zeal point chakra, which is the mouth of God, or referred to as the mouth of God. I talked about the zeal point chakra and how it allows you to communicate with higher beings, ascended masters, angelic beings. That zeal point chakra at the base of your skull has to be balanced and aligned. So all of it has a connection. And all of it allows you to be more than what you are, to grow beyond your limitations. I said earlier that there are ways around it that to me are more negative. It is preferable to go through the process of opening the third eye as opposed to the rituals that they impose on this plane of existence to get this false enlightenment and wisdom. The Black Eye Conspiracy, the Black Eye Club, is actually a ritual or process to achieve enlightenment, to achieve artificial enlightenment, as opposed to receiving enlightenment through the work of the chakras. I think once you connect the dots of why so many prominent people have black eyes, and you connect it to the story of the Eye of Odin, you got to understand that a lot of stories have some truth in them. This is the problem, that when we talk about discernment, that as divine beings, you're going to see the truth and stuff. But if you don't have discernment, then you'll just swallow it all. You need discernment. You need to understand that the best lies have truth in them. So when we look at this story of the Eye of Odin and we compare it to celebrities and individuals who seem to have bruised and black eyes as they pursue more power, as they pursue more control, they're not only sacrificing the small ones to gain that energetic boost that we know as what is the fluid that is drained from children? Does anyone know what that is? Androconda? Is that what it's called? I can't think of the name right now. But that energy they need, and this ritual of blacking the eye, is also what causes them to have this false as knowledge or false heightened consciousness. You notice that we automatically assume that these people are wise, they are intelligent, that they have some deeper knowledge. You know, remember Jay-Z? Was it Jay-Z that asked, or someone had the thing, would you rather have $10,000 or spend 15 minutes with Jay-Z? There you go. Adrenochrome. There you go. I couldn't think of the name. Adrenochrome. Hold on, let me post that. You're exactly right. Thank you. Thank you, sister. I couldn't think of the name. That is the substance that they remove from babies. And that is what they use to increase their life expectancies and for health. I know you. Oh my God. None of this is true. Okay. All right. Even though it's being proven true every day, they just came out with some more things about the Epstein file. But you can keep your head buried in the sand if you want. You can keep being a sheep, but sheep get sheared. Sheep get eaten. Okay. Sheep repeat lessons. Adrenochrome. So Jay-Z, I think it was the Jay-Z or somebody was talking about, would you rather spend 10 minutes with Jay-Z or, $10,000 or something like that? And a lot of people, I would rather spend 10 minutes with Jay-Z. I wouldn't. To me, I wouldn't, because Jay-Z is not a model that I would like to copy for all the wealth in the world. I would not like to copy that. If you understand the type of things that people do, if you have someone that would harm their community, whether it be through selling something or lyrics, right? There's nothing that will stop them. Oh, that's interesting. They're not getting much of that adrenochrome because of the whole thing that's going on. That's why they're looking so much older now. That is really interesting. That's a good point. That's a good point. But if you look at some of the things that people would do to get power, to get wealth, right? Why would you want to model after them? Because eventually your ass is going to have to get a black eye. Eventually, your thirst for power, your thirst for wealth will lead you to this point where you have to go through this ritual. So if you don't believe in rituals, you don't believe in conspiracies, you don't believe all this is happening, then I don't know where you've been or what you're trying to think of or whatever's going on. On TikTok. TikTok, no one's even listened to me over there. But it's all related, as I said earlier, to the spiritual journey that we're on, that most of us are on. We're just trying to do things the right way. I know some of us would probably are tempted to do it the wrong way, and that's always the pull. A lot of us wants to reach a certain success and wealth and really don't understand how you do that. But I'm sure if we did, a lot of us probably would choose that. I'm not naming no names, but some people, if they serve a purpose to the system, they get that information. They get contacted. And they have access to that. They have to serve a purpose. If you can denigrate your community and denigrate people, you can serve their purpose. If you have shown the willingness to do almost anything for money, oh, they got a place for you. They got a place for you. And they will show you these secrets and show you how you can gain this false knowledge, false wisdom. But a lot of us want to gain it the right way, and we do the work that's required of it. So if you want to talk about, I think this is called the triangle. Hold on, let me see what it's called. I didn't put it in my notes. Did I? We can talk about that too. Why you see a lot of them actually do this. It's called a triangle. It actually represents a mudra. Mudras are hands, positions. This represents one. It casts a spell. We can talk about that one too. I won't give out the actual rituals. You have to go to the people that got them. I told you about certain things they do, like baptism in certain religious beliefs. And if you study religions like I do, you'll find other things that seem very interesting, but you understand them as spells and rituals that actually give up your power. But if you won't have any qualms about welcome, sign Trinity. I just saw it. I just saw your greeting. So welcome. But if you don't have any qualms about doing things the wrong way, or you don't care about humanity, I hope that most of the people that I talk to actually have a mission and a purpose to raise humanity's consciousness, to aid their fellow man. But if you're one of those people that don't really care about other people, then there's a wrong way and a right way to do all of this. And that's what we're here for. And that's the honest truth, really, that we're here to grow, to expand our consciousness, to experience divine source. That's what we're here for. I know we get distracted by so many things and we on this lust for power and money, but there's ways you can get it. You can get your eye blacked. You can give up your eye. I don't think the ritual actually takes the eye, but it causes bruising around the eye. Whatever it is, it's caused a whole lot of bruising around the eye. So let me just recap. We did our psychic practice this morning when we came in. If you want to do more work on that, I know it's, you have to work it for it to work. We do that on Saturdays. I'll send that link out, join the newsletter, become part of the conscious community. I'm appealing to those that are awake, to those that felt like they are different, or that they have a purpose and a mission and this resonates with you. Join our community. Sign up for the newsletter. It's free. Become part of the Conscious Collective. Add your energy to help us raise energy. You are the reason. Just the work that you're doing on yourself is actually the reason things are being revealed. I talked yesterday about you being the light, and the light not only opens, shines for you, but a light shines for everyone around you. That's how we raise energy. If you want to know the mechanics or how us working on our consciousness, how us raising our vibration, how our energy is our energy is affecting others, how our light shining actually illuminates things for other people without us even saying a word, because physically our light just doesn't. When you turn on the light, it's not just you that see. If you have a flashlight, it's not just you that sees. Anyone near you can see too. And so you raising your consciousness, you raising your vibration, you expanding your mind is helping others go, I don't know. You making sense now. For a while there, you were crazy, but now you're making sense. That is having a ripple effect, a quantum effect, where things are becoming revealed and the system is crumbling. If you want to know how the mechanics of how we change the matrix is just a framework. We can project the reality of 5D by raising our vibration. as 3D crumbles, we raise our vibration, 5D becomes more of a reality. Hold on. Make them think. What was I saying? Go back to my notes. So you are the reason, you are responsible for all this coming out. But during that process, it's messy. A lot of things are happening. It's messy because the old world has to be destroyed so that we can move into a more enlightened world. If you read your Christian teachings, there is a passage that says that the new world came to existence and there was no more sea. And that struck me as very curious because we need water, right? And I'm like, why would there be a new world and there be no more sea? And I tried to share with people that a lot of things are metaphorically and there are parables to things. So when it says there was no more sea, sea often represents confusion and lies and things that are hidden. That's what the word SEAC often represents in a lot of teachings. So when the new world is here, there's no more sea, there's no more lies, there's no more confusion, there's no more hidden things. As I encourage you to work on your psychic abilities and your psychic gift, what comes along with that is the ability to see people, to read people. You don't have to read their minds, but when everyone can read everyone, then lies don't exist. Everyone's an open book to everyone. So become part of this movement. Get in early, get in where you fit in. Join the Starseed Collective. Sign up for the newsletter. Let me move this down. Hold on. Where's that at? If you want to know more about the video that we did yesterday, the stream that we did yesterday, discernment over deception, I put that link in this video. Check that video out if you want to see the partner to this conversation that we wasn't planning on having, but I think the universe wanted me to talk about it. All right. If you need a visual representation of what this slideshow that we had, that's on the Patreon page. If you're not a Patreon member, join the Patreon community and you can see I'm going to put our conversations as a deeper dive on the Patreon page. Okay, so you can have all of the information without my commentary. So check out that Patreon page and let me know, what you think of it over there, okay? I am always grateful that you guys allow me to share my perspective, to work with you in your spiritual journey, tapping into this video, understanding the role that you play in raising consciousness, being part of the new earth. We're getting stronger and more powerful each day. I truly appreciate that. And that's all I want to do. You don't have to just agree. I don't want anyone to just agree. Just see what resonates with you. Do a little research. Use your mind. As R. Kelly says, use your mind. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what we seek. So I'm always grateful that we get an opportunity to be connected. We're going to be starting doing some real world connections, some real world meetings, because we have to get away from this gatekeeping. You know, yesterday we had a whole thing. It's just like the whole system fell apart. So when you look at the video from yesterday, you'll see I cut that part out. I tried to make the transition as smooth as possible, but you may see that skip, you know, when you look at that video from yesterday. But I had a lot of good people helping me because I could only see what I'm doing. I couldn't see what you guys were seeing, which is interesting. And I hear TikTok is doing that too, where you can see your numbers going. They look like your numbers are going up when you're doing something on TikTok, but actually they shadow banning you and other people can't see you. We need to move away from these social platforms. We can't let them be a substitute for our actual connection with each other. You need to see I'm not an AI. I need to see that you are a human being too. So we'll be announcing that in the newsletter too. I didn't think this conversation was going to be this long, but I am grateful that I think we got a lot of good points out. I have two things that I want to say. If you're just joining this conversation, please go back and rewind because we're wrapping it up. But thank you for joining us, right? I want to, again, show my appreciation for you guys allowing me to share my perspective. I not only want to wish everyone love and light in their journey, I also want to wish everyone health and wealth in your journey. And the reason I added that, because you are meant to be abundant. And we need to go have that conversation again too, that the correct state of your being is abundance. It's not lack. The universe doesn't do anything in lack. It's no lack nowhere. You can't point to lack anywhere. Even in the desert, there's billions of grains of sand. It's not just one big sand ball. The universe always operates in abundance, and that is your correct alignment. So we need to have that conversation too. I truly appreciate you, Nicole. Thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys. I want to wish you love and light in your journey and health and wellness. You guys have a great day.